All right, guys, in our next segment of Stream or Skip, we will be reviewing three movies that have been released one last year and one this year. Yeah, two last year and one this year. The first up is Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. This movie was based on Ma Rainey's character, and it takes place as tensions rise when the trailblazing blues singer Ma Rainey and her band gather at a recording studio in Chicago in 1927. The writer for this was Ruben Santiago Hudson, and the screenplay was written by August Wilson. It was produced by Todd Black, Denzel Washington, and Danny Wolf, starring Viola Davis, Chadwick Boseman, and Coleman Domingo. So, with that, Brittany, I will turn it over to you and say, what are your thoughts on this film, whether positive or negative?
I really liked it. I would say I'm a fan of August Wilson plays. I have not seen Ma Rainey, but I'm pretty sure that if this has Denzel and Viola backing it, I'm pretty sure that it was very closely adapted from the play. Because when Denzel produced Fences, which is also an August Wilson play, I mean, that was literally verbatim. Like, there were no liberties taken, nothing added, nothing subtracted. It was literally that play put on screen, and I can probably say 90% sure that the same thing was done with Ma Rainey. So, but and in that regards, then I was a huge fan. I thought everybody did very well. It was very chilling to see Chadwick Boseman on screen. In fact, I could tell in some like shots, like in the very beginning of the film, he was a little bit skinnier than he was in other parts of the film. So it was kind of eerie to just know, oh, okay, this was what he was going through while he was shooting this film, and nobody on set knew. But I mean, classic Chadwick Boseman style acting. Viola is also the GOAT. I liked it. I even like Coleman Domingo. I think he's a good actor. Like, what his roles on Fear the Walking Dead, I really like him on that show. So yeah, I mean, I really liked it. What were your thoughts?
My thoughts about the film, I thought it was great. So because it was adapted from the play, it has those strong elements similar to Fences, of where they focus only on one or two particular scenes, and dialogue is the main focus of this particular movie. So if you're looking for more of a backstory on Ma Rainey, you're not going to get it. Like I said, it's only focused on this one studio recording session that she had, but there's so much being said without having to have an understanding of her I guess her life story as of yet, that you just get a peek and a glimpse into some of the things that she had to deal with in her life as a black woman, as a singer in the time period in which this takes place in. So I love the dialogue, the parallel between Chadwick Boseman's character and her character, as far as the male perspective in that time period and the woman's perspective in that time period. And I also appreciated, what else was it? Even though they did not give a huge backstory as far as her life, they did give you a peek and a glimpse into her lifestyle, and kind of the way people viewed her lifestyle at that time also. Even if it were just looks or glances, it didn't even have to be said. Just from the expressions of the faces of people, you kind of pick up that emotion and kind of what she went through, whether it was white characters in the film or black characters in the film. So I really love that. And one thing that I found interesting, that I see when it comes to black women when they are sexually fluid, whether it is back in the 1920s or era or currently, it seems to me that they're always okay with having that conversation with about black women and their sexuality, whether they're with women, men, etc. But when it comes to black men, they never speak of that. And I know for sure, like I know there are probably men that are also sexually fluid that have been in other genres or industries, whether it's music, whether it doesn't matter. But it just seems to me that when it comes to women in general, they're okay with saying, oh yes, she liked women, or this, that, and the third, but they're never comfortable of displaying that with men. I find that interesting.
That's just because, back in the 20s, homosexuality or being fluid on the sexuality spectrum was such a taboo subject and probably not as easily expressed for men of color because of the environment. Not only did you have to deal with the patriarchy and heteronormative ideas, but you also had to deal with racism, right? And so we saw that struggle in Lovecraft Country this summer with Montrose's character, Michael Williams' character, Montrose Freeman, and how he wanted to be with his lover, but he could not be with his lover, and that is such a major dialogue or internal fight between a black male and himself, right? And I think August Wilson does a great job, and all of his plays seem to touch on this point of like black people wanting more for themselves but shrinking because of their environment, but then also having these dominant characters who are like pushing against the norm. So it's always that fight. And I don't really know how to conclude that statement, but yeah, I mean, that's why I don't think you're going to see that fluidity unless it's specifically a movie about that type of male back then in that environment. But you're not going to see like a black gay male in the 20s and then he be open and then he walking down the street and nobody's calling him all types of names and he's not fearful of his life, right? You're not going to see that. And he's not going to be as open with that because he knows the dangers of that. Yeah.
That's very true. That's true. One other point that I did want to notice is that I completely told. I don't know when it clicked, but the movie Bessie, starring Queen Latifah, Ma Rainey's character was played by Monique in that movie, and she did a fabulous job. So, I mean, I feel that story, Bessie. Honestly, I watch Bessie probably once a year. I love that movie so much. Yeah, I really, really love that movie. I think they did a fantastic job with that. And when I was watching Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, I was telling Corey that, oh, this must be the singer who came before Bessie in the genre of music that they were doing. And it didn't dawn on me that was Bessie's mentor, who took her on the road until I started putting the puzzles and pieces together. So if you've seen Bessie, you kind of already have a backstory on Ma Rainey and her relationship with Bessie and how that mentorship went. And then you fast forward to, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom and you get a peek into her world more so with this session that she has. So I thought that was pretty cool and dope to be able to tie those two films together. And have that parallel. So, yeah.
Because Ma Rainey is a real person. These other characters are fictional. So,
yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes, very much so. And another thing that I wish they wouldn't have harped on a lot of because the other characters were fictional, is that I felt like Chadwick Boseman character had a lot of spotlight on him, more so than it needed to be. But
but to me the play is about him. The play is about his character, the black male perspective, as a lot of August Wilson plays are.
Got it.
Okay. That's just gonna be how it is.
Because I saw that and I was like, oh, well, I wish it would have focused more on her, but now that you gave me that backstory, it makes sense of this is just what it is and how it's going to be.
Okay. Yeah, and to be honest with you, I feel like the play and the movie is more about his story, and she is an ancillary character. She is the background. She is the backdrop, just so we can get to know more about this particular character. What was his motivations? What's his mindset? What led him to do what he did at the end, right? It's about him. It's not about Ma Rainey. Although their fight for to be seen, to be heard, to be in power of themselves and in the world is the same. It's parallel, but the story is more about that character.
So, do you think the name should have changed?
No, I'm not going to say that because August Wilson is the GOAT in playwright. And so I mean, he had a very specific reason why it was that way. Every one of his plays are set in a different decade. So yeah, no. I knew going into this that it was called Ma Rainey's, but it ain't really about Ma Rainey.
Okay, all right, got it. Yeah, because I didn't know what to expect coming into it. I had no expectations, honestly. I just wanted to watch the film. So, okay, I get that. So, all in all, are we letting people, or what's your opinion for stream or skip?
Definitely stream. I mean, anything with August Wilson, you should definitely watch. I mean, that's culture. That's heritage. That's like I said, he's the GOAT. You should definitely engage and know him and know of his work. So yeah, stream.
Agreed, stream. Okay, so our next film up is a Disney Pixar film, Soul. It's about a musician who has lost his passion for music and then is transported out of his body and must find his way back with the help of an infant soul learning about herself. The writer for this is Pete Docter, Mike Jones, and Kemp Powers. It was produced by Dana Murray, starring Jamie Foxx, Tina Fey, and Graham Norton. Brittany, what were your thoughts on Soul?
I thought it was a cute movie. Maybe cute is not the word. I thought it was a deep movie for children's animation. I'm pretty sure this is not targeted to kids, although it seemed like it was. It was Did you see that other Disney Pixar movie with the girl and about her emotions?
Yeah, Inside Out.
Yes, that one. So it's very reminiscent of that, but those emotions were like anger, happy, joy. This was something more ethereal, more spiritual, more hard to grasp and to even understand, to the point where I felt like there are some movies or some animations that has jokes or storylines that are more adult in nature, but still like kids can laugh at some of the witty commentary or characters falling or something like that. I didn't feel like that at all. Like, I just didn't feel like this was a kids movie. And then when I think about it, did they market it as a kids movie, or do we just assume all animation is marketed toward kids? I don't know, but it ain't for the kids, because who has time to explain to children what it means to be in this world? What is life purpose? No. You don't have time to explain it to a 4 or 8-year-old.
Oh, I'm so glad you said that, because I feel the same way. When I mean, 10 minutes into this movie, I'm like, oh, this is profoundly deep. Like, this is something like I need to put my thinking cap on. I need to go soul and spiritual searching to figure out my answers to these questions, because I don't even know myself. How am I supposed to explain this to a child? I was baffled by how they really went there with a lot of things. And now I don't want to give anything away, but first let me rewind. When I first heard about this movie and it was called Soul and Jamie Foxx was starring in it, I thought that this movie was going to be about maybe the essence of Black people and like pride and like the maybe the swag of Black culture. So, and then I saw the trailer. And I'm like, oh no, the Black man, dies in the trailer. Okay, this is about his actual soul itself. Oh, okay. And I just didn't know where they were going with that. So after, watching the film, I just think, I don't think it's meant for children either. It can't possibly, because I wouldn't have my son watch this. I'm sorry. I can't.
I was going to ask my friend if her and her children watched it, and kind of, my goddaughter, she's 4, and I just really want to know what she... Girl, what what did you take away from this film? What did you like about Soul? The cat?
Exactly. And I'm like, how would a child? It's not like Shrek. Like Shrek was a movie that kids could watch and laugh, and like with parents, and parents get the adult jokes and like the kid jokes, and it's both level. You can have a good time. This movie is not like that at all.
No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. Okay, so another thing that I thought about the movie that I felt was interesting was, you saying that you thought this was about Black Soul.
I did.
To me, I mean, the main character is black, but he could have been white. I mean, there was nothing particularly black about it, except that barbershop scene.
Right, agreed. But this is before I saw the character and like knew the back, like he was a musician. This is when I just heard Soul and Jamie Foxx playing the main character. I knew nothing else about it, so I thought the direction of it was going to go somewhere else.
But what are your thoughts about folks saying like they're tired of seeing black animated characters be objects and not themselves? So like in I don't know, that movie, I can't even think, it was a spy movie that Will Smith came in, and then majority of the movie he was a pigeon, and then like in Princess and the Frog, Tiana was a frog for majority of the movie, and here we have another main character who's black and he's a soul, and then he's a cat, and then he's you know what I'm saying. So do you have any feelings on if you think that's intentional by these animation companies to limit black animation on screen?
Okay. I was infuriated when I saw that the character dies. I mean, you see it in the trailer, so I'm not giving that away, guys. I'm not giving that away. You see that he drops down into the little hole in the trailer and that he dies. I was pissed when I saw that. I'm like, the first time that we actually have a protagonist in a Pixar film, he dies within the first 5 minutes of the film. Are you freaking kidding me? And then the Princess and the Frog, that infuriated me about, she's not even a real princess. She's a freaking assistant maid to this wealthy child, and then she becomes a frog for all the film, and then at the end she marries a prince, then becomes a princess for like 2 minutes. I don't know if this is done intentionally. I don't want to, put that, I want to have the best, positive mind to say it's a coincidence that this is happening, but I have noticed. I can't say that I haven't noticed and I haven't thought about it. It's the same thing like when we think about, black people in horror films. Why are they the ones always dying the first 5-10 minutes within the film? We've seen that several times over. I don't know.
I think it goes back. I would be slow to say that this is intentional as well, but I do think that it is evidence of lack of diversity and inclusion in the boardroom, a lack of understanding about the black experience, or any experience that's not white. I mean, because we could say the same thing with any other cultural movie that Disney or Pixar has done and made some of their main characters not people. And I think people, or animation companies in Hollywood period, are genuinely, I don't know, I'm treading lightly, genuinely trying to change and be diverse. But it's going to take them a while because Hollywood is such an old-fashioned system. Mm-hmm. This is something that has been in works for a long time. And if you don't think racism wasn't deeply embedded into Hollywood, then you are sadly mistaken. And it's going to take a long time for us to change and break down those barriers and making sure that we have, like I said, that diversity, that inclusion in the boardroom, and making sure that we have black animators, so that in that barbershop scene where you see him, he lining up, he got that pinky out, he got his tattoo, so it seems authentic. But that only happens when you have those black writers, those black animators, those black staff in the room. But if you don't have anyone greenlighting and saying, hey, why don't we think something differently for this character, and why don't we make him a whole, fully realized human being, we're not gonna see it. I think they're just like, diversity, black, whatever, everybody jump in the water. Right? They just throw whatever's gonna stick to the wall. And sometimes it can feel a little like half-assed thought, right? Like,
Agree. Yeah.
We could have thought a little deep on this. So I don't know. I think other than that, I thought Soul was a good movie.
Okay, so with that, you would suggest stream or skip for you?
I would say stream, because even if with all these other rooted problems in the film, I think, like you said, it will give you some things to think about when you finish watching this film about your life choices, how you're living your life, what are you doing to it, what's your purpose, what does that mean for you, especially if you don't think about those things. So yeah, I would say stream, only if so that you can get these self-actualization thoughts out there. But like, stream it right away, maybe you don't have to, but like, you're not doing anything on a Friday night, whatever. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, what are your thoughts?
Honestly, I would say skip.
Ooh.
Unfortunately, only reason why I would say that is because I just don't feel that. I mean, I went into this film with a very open mind. I didn't listen to anybody else's reviews. I didn't, I saw nothing prior to it, besides my own thoughts from seeing the trailer and just being excited to watch the film. And honestly, just 5-10 minutes into it, I was ready to cut it off.
You was blown because he was dead.
No, maybe that's what it was. And then it just went really deep. And I think you need to be on some things in order to take that trip with them, to be able to go to the deep valleys and things like that. And no.
I said, watch it if you want to get some, but if you just like trying to chill, no, maybe this ain't the movie for you to chill on.
No, it's not. It's not a Netflix and chill. It's not Disney Plus and chill kind of thing. No, don't do that.
Okay, so it's a skip for you.
It's a skip. Yeah, so guys, 50-50 here.
Respect.
Yeah, exactly. Next up, guys, we have, so on the theme of animation, we're going to switch over to Netflix and review Canvas, which is a short film about a grieving grandfather struggling to reclaim his passion for painting after suffering a loss, finds the inspiration to create again. The director of this was Frank E Abney III. He was also the animator on Soul, CoCo, and Toy Story 4. He was also the executive producer for Hair Love, the short film. The production company was Netflix Animation, and the music was produced by Jermaine Stegall. And there's no dialogue within this short film at all. So, Brittany, what did you think about Canvas?
I thought it was very cute. A cute short film. And by the way, you guys, Frank, he is a black male. So I'm all for black animators, black graphic artists, especially ones who are working on major motion pictures. And I like his style, honestly. So I do like this film. Like you said, it's a short. There is no dialogue, but you understand the storyline, and it's cute. What is it, like 15 minutes, if that?
Yeah, I think it's about 9 or 15 minutes long. I don't think it's not. I know it's not past 20, so it's very short. Yeah, so it's not too bad.
What were your thoughts on it?
So, I love seeing the brown animation characters. I thought that was beautiful. And with that comes, I love the natural hair of the mother, of the daughter. I love the animation within the animation. I thought that was really dope. And I also loved how much emotion it evoked without speaking a word. I just thought the faces of the characters were so realistic and so relatable, and so it pulls you in to the storyline that you just get engulfed in it, and you just, at least I did, and I totally forgot what was going on around me because I was so captivated by the beautiful lighting of the picture, and just the story itself. So, yeah.
Okay, so this is a definite stream.
Oh, absolutely. It's a stream for me, for sure.
Agreed.
And
And on the flip side, this is something that I would recommend you watching with your children.
Yes, you can watch this with your kids.
Some very treacherous things about life and its purpose and your soul.
I mean, well, Canvas was about lost and finding, your passion again, and that's kind of deep.
And deep, but in a way where it's like it's you can explain it to children. Like, a loss of a grandparent or an elder, I feel is a little bit easier explained than a guy walking down the street, falling into a hole, turning in. Oh, no, you know what? I'm gonna give the movie away, but I just feel that the elements are a little bit easier to digest.
All right, I'm with you on that.
All right, guys, so that wraps up Stream or Skip as well as our show for this evening. We appreciate you all joining us for another week of Black and Behind the Scenes.